This is the K953 Sports Show podcast, brought to you by the Fan Zone in Wilmer's Candy Mall.
Welcome to the K953 Sports Show podcast. I am Beau, I am your host, and we are here for another great week of sports show. Thank you for joining us. As usual, please hit the subscribe button if you like what you hear, and right next to the subscribe button, you will see a bell. What that does is if you click that, that'll actually give you an alert on your phone when the new episodes drop every Wednesday, so you don't miss a single episode. So please do that and go hit the bell, hit the subscribe, all that fun stuff. Share on social media. You got friends out there that are big into sports and that want to hear local people talking sports. Please share it with them. Let's get going here with this. Actually, my guest today is I brought my father back. He had a whole 1 week off, but he's back. How's it going today, Dad?
I'm doing great. Just got back from golfing, so I'm ready to go talk about the pack.
Ugh. And then I got here for the first time, Russ G. He is the area manager at Anytime Fitness, so check out Anytime Fitness for any of your fitness needs. How's it going today, Russ?
It's going pretty well. I just got back from work. I can't compete with golf, but hey, it works.
You got to be retired first.
Well, awesome, guys. Let's get right into the Vikings-Packer game. Obviously, it was not the ending we wanted, especially when we had the opportunity of winning it a couple of times. We'll kind of go through and talk about a variety of different aspects of the game. But first, let's just start off with a game MVP, because let's start off on a positive note. I don't want to go all negative at first. Let's start off positive. For me, the game MVP for me is Cousins. What was it? He 425 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, the 1 interception, but of course that went off Treadwell's hands. So you know it sucks that they get credited for that, but it's not his fault. It was purely Treadwell's on there. What was it, 35 for 48, so only 13 incomplete passes, and once again, 3 of those were probably to Treadwell, and 1 to Coley. So most of his incompletions were actually drops. So yeah, Cousins MVP for me. To me, it just shows that we finally have a franchise quarterback, a guy that can go toe-to-toe with a talent like Rodgers and be like, you think you can outsling me this game? No, let me show you, Rodgers. I can do that too. That's what I loved about the game. That's why I think Cousins is the obvious answer. It's his throws, the touchdown to Diggs, 65 yards in the air, and it was just a bullet. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Russ, who do you have as your game MVP?
I also have Cousins, and I'm a Cousins skeptic.
I remember that.
Not anymore.
I still am a little bit. A little bit. It's been 2 games. He played very, very well in this game. It was just nice to be the team coming from behind rather than us being ahead, and it's always Aaron Rodgers, and before that it was Brett Favre, and it's always seems to be we get ahead, and they always come from behind and beat us in the end. So it was very promising to see. He rolls a lot in this game for me.
And that was one of my biggest arguments for Cousins when we were going after him compared to Keenum. To me, Keenum didn't have that, guys, jump on my back, I'm going to carry you to this win. Cousins has that. Cousins has done that successfully with crap teams and crap people around him. So I was trying to remember, and I remembered, I was like, God, wasn't it Russ that was like, I like Keenum, I'm not about Cousins. And I thought it was, and I was going to bring that up tonight, but you brought it up before me, so now I can lay into you a little bit.
It wasn't that Keenum wanted to do it. He had the desire. He had the brains to do it.
Not the arm.
Keenum doesn't have the arm. He doesn't have the height. And he just doesn't have that thing. And by the way, it was Bridgewater I thought we should have kept. I don't get beat up over that one, but I still believe it. But Cousins has proven me wrong.
Yep, no, it's good. Father, Dad?
I'm going to go with Cousins too. Also, I'm going to go with Diggs and Thielen. I tell you what. I'm so excited with Cousins' accuracy and his speed, his strength, his arm strength, and his capability of putting it in tight spots. I know this is only a second game, but he's making me feel really happy to be able to come from behind like that, because we haven't had that for a while.
And I'm trying to remember back to our first show, Dad, that we did kind of bold predictions for the season. And I thought I remember you kind of saying that. Was it you that was saying Diggs and Thielen were going to be like 1 and 2 in the league in receptions or something like that? Wasn't that?
Yes, I did. I predicted that they'll be 1 and 2 in the league as far as receptions for this year, and of course, also I picked the Vikings to lose to the Packers. But thank you for not doing that.
Yeah, I think it's
Lambeau.
Yeah, and I think any non Kool-Aid swimming drinking Viking fans, when they get the schedule out and they look at it, most will put down a loss in Green Bay. Doesn't matter how good or how bad either of us are. That game is always tough for us when we go over to Green Bay. We split the series way more than one of the teams sweep it. And so it just seemed like that was kind of it was obvious that was going to happen. Obviously, I had it a loss. Also, we got it as a tie, so it was a little bit of a gain, which is good, I guess. It's not a loss. But
it's more of a loss for them than it is for us just because it was at Lambeau.
I agree.
So
I agree.
And plus we, he drove, Rodgers drove him down. We shut him down. They had to kick 5 field goals, and
that's a key point. Only one touchdown.
One
by the
touchdown
offense.
from Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood, and I was pleasing, even though I was disappointed we gave up 5 field goals. Boy, to hold him out of the end zone, that's a plus, big plus.
Yeah, and like you said, that made a big difference. And like you said, Diggs and Thielen, let's just take a look at what their stats were. Diggs 9 catches for 128 yards. Of course, one of those was like 75 yards. So I mean, he got a big chunk on just one play. But then, of course, the 12 catches. I didn't realize Thielen had 12 catches.
Yeah, he had 12 catches for 130
yards. A lot
yards.
of catches. Yeah. He's. My son said this, and I thought it was kind of funny. But he said Thielen is the go-to guy on third down. Diggs is the touchdown guy, and it held pretty much true. Thielen did get one down the stretch, which was nice, but.
Yeah, no, it's I can see that. Thielen is definitely the more possession. He's the more the Chris Carter-esque type, so that definitely makes a difference. I see Rudolph even had 7 catches for 72 yards, which I'm glad to see because I've been a big critic of his over the last couple of years. I just feel like he just refuses to take that step forward and really turn into an elite tight end. He just kind of, I don't know, he's just so slow. He's so bumbling. He reminds me of Kleinsasser sometimes, and just how it's like he's running so slow, but it's just like he gets hit once and falls down. But so I'm glad to see that with Rudolph also. So it was good to see him in the game a little bit more and catching some more balls. But I mean, yeah, the Diggs Thielen is amazing. I would have never guessed this years ago that this was going to happen with both Diggs and Thielen. I think I actually kind of called and told friends of mine that Thielen shouldn't even be on the team when he came on his first year.
Yeah.
When he was off, that year that I think he had that blocked punt that he recovered and returned in. I was like, oh, he's a cute little white guy, wide receiver from Minnesota. Happy go joy story, whatever. But I was actually. I couldn't have been more surprised at what he turned out to be as a player.
So when do you want me to serve the crow to you?
I'm stuffed with crow. I've been eating crow since about middle of last year, so you don't have to worry about crow. I'm OD'd on crow.
Thielen is so good, and it proved it on Sunday when he caught that touchdown pass.
Oh, just the concentration.
The concentration, plus he doesn't expose his hands. When he goes for a catch, he doesn't expose his hands. In that one there, he had him tucked right against his chest, and those guys didn't have any idea the ball was coming until it was in his hands.
Yep.
So that's
There's a reason he's the go-to guy. He absolutely is high IQ, high football IQ, and his hands are just amazing, and he knows how to get open.
Yeah. No, he's been doing a wonderful job. Well, we got a couple positives on. Let's kind of hit up the negatives a little bit. Unfortunately, we were talking wide receivers, so obviously we unfortunately do have to talk about Treadwell. I'm so disappointed. I've been a fan of his. I've been cheering him on. I really wanted him to do well, just because all the naysayers, people have been on his butt since he was drafted and hadn't been showing up the first 2 years. And I wanted him to succeed. That was almost my bold take at the beginning of the year, was that Treadwell was going to have a breakout season. And I didn't say that, but in hindsight, that was probably a good thing I didn't, because I see the talent in him. But, coming into this year, he had a new quarterback, new offensive coordinator. He had kind of a fresh time. I don't think anybody really gave him the chance the first 2 years in the league. They didn't give him the chance, and now we've given him a chance to step up. And unfortunately, he's literally let it slip through his hands in the first 2 games. And I'm saddened because I really was hoping he'd be a solid wide receiver.
His the biggest complaint I had on him is he always seems to be turning his head when he's trying to catch the ball. And I bet you if you go back and see the highlights of what he had, 21 catches last year or something like that.
I think he's only got 21 catches in his career.
Oh, in his career, I bet you 20 of them, his head was turned before he was catching the ball, so he was lucky he caught the ball. The one on Sunday, the one that went through his hands above his head, Cousins throws the ball so hard. He kind of reminds me of Brett Favre, just the way he has that arm strength. And I know years ago the receivers for Green Bay would complain that Brett threw the ball so hard that would hurt their hands.
But the other guys catch him.
That's true.
The other guys catch him.
That's right.
And the sad thing is for me about Treadwell is he's getting open. He's figuring out the game.
Yep.
But you got to catch it, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's gotten better at running the routes, and I mean, I saw the touchdown by him in the first half. I was like, oh, so happy. I was like, yes, stuff that in those people's faces.
Yeah, like, started with a bang.
Do that,
Yeah.
and then it just went all downhill from there.
Yep.
One of his drops wasn't his fault. It was way behind him, and it went off his fingertips.
Yep.
We have to be like, well, Cousins threw the interception, but it wasn't his fault. That drop wasn't his fault. That was way behind him, and I mean, he grabbed his fingers. You could tell he jammed his fingers from it, trying to reach back for it. But the other couple, that was all on him. He's got to, if you're getting a ball thrown to you and you're doing a little post route and it is up by your shoulder and in front of you, you have to catch that as a professional NFL wide receiver.
Well, if you want to be on the roster, you do.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to give up on him yet. If this happens another game or two, it's done. But we invested a lot in the guy, and like I say, he's getting open. He's figuring it out. But usually, I will say from past experiences, when guys get in the habit of dropping the football, it's generally a lifelong thing. Let's hope it's not.
Well, then there you too. As far as him dropping that ball, that second one he dropped, you saw Cousins go right up to him, and I know that's the leadership we're getting from Cousins.
Yep.
He went and talked to him, and I know he wasn't cussing at him for dropping. I'm pretty sure he's saying, maybe I should have lightened up a little bit on that throw.
Right.
Maybe I should have in a
Next
different
one.
spot. Yep. You're gonna get the next one. Of course, then the next one he dropped again. So
Yeah, and a lot of people were complaining about that. Like, why do they keep on going back to him? He dropped it. Why do they keep? I think that was Cousins' way of saying, "Hey, man,
he does.
It
trust
happens.
You. It trusts you.
it happens sometimes. The best wide receivers have it off their hands." I'm not calling Treadwell a great wide receiver, but players can just drop balls sometimes and have a bad game. And he's just saying, "Hey, you might have dropped that. You might have almost screwed us, but I'm going to go back to you because you're my guy, and I'm the leader of this team, and I want you involved." I did look. Yeah, those 21 receptions were his past 2 years. He had 20 last year, 1 his rookie year. Of course, with Treadwell, we ended up, a lot of people were like, drop him. But he was 100% dead money, so that was never going to happen. It was going to hurt us in the cap and cost us more if we would have dropped him.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they kept him. They ended up releasing Stacy Coley, and I'm kind of fine with that because they signed this Aldrick Robinson. And, if anything, that just kind of bumps Zylstra up another one.
Yeah, let's
up another level. So he should be kind of the fourth, maybe the third occasionally. That's the one thing that I think is kind of lost in the Treadwell stuff is that Zylstra needs to step up now. Hopefully they start getting him in. I did read he was in for 2 snaps in the second half on offense.
Okay.
Zylstra was. I didn't see him.
I
but
didn't see it either,
obviously he
but-
wasn't involved, but
He's
was
still
in
number
for
15, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. As far
Haven't
as I
changed
know.
his number.
So that'll be interesting to watch how the wide receiver goes. The long story longer, we have 2 awesome, over-the-top, great wide receivers, and behind them we've got a lot of question marks. We need to see where those question marks, how those question marks will be answered in the upcoming weeks, which will be huge. Well, let's go on to the next one. The elephant in the room, the roughing the passer calls. It's kind of ironic listening to Packer fans complain about getting bad calls on somebody else's quarterback. It's like, really? really?
Yeah.
You've got the second coming of Christ as yours, and you're complaining about finally getting a call against you on a quarterback. And as far as, it was exactly the same as the hit that Kendricks got called for in the first half. So
Identical.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if they're going to be bad calls, consistently bad calls.
Yeah.
Scott Watkins last week said, he goes, that's what he wants. He wants consistency. He said, in baseball, if you call a strike that is 4 inches outside of the strike zone, you better call that for a strike for every batter that comes up. Otherwise, it's the inconsistency. So they can cry and complain all they want. The fact is that it was the exact same call against us earlier in the game. Nothing changed on that. What are your guys' thoughts on this one? Because obviously they're calling it burping.
I've been waiting.
Quarterback.
I've been waiting for this one. I watched a little bit of the herd today, and also Colin Coward had it right. Why are Packer fans complaining when it's your quarterback that caused this rule? And first of all, they were penalties, guys. The refs called it right. I don't agree with it. I totally don't agree with. But the league looked at it. This is the rule the league made as a result of Aaron. I mean, you can blame Anthony Barr, but Anthony Barr's hit wasn't illegal.
Yep.
But it's more of a result as Packer Nation throwing a fit because their star quarterback got hurt in a legal hit.
Yep.
So this is a result of the Packers.
Yep.
So why are they upset with us? Gee, I don't know. They shouldn't be. No. And they called them right. I'm not mad at the refs. I don't like the calls, and if anything, I'm upset with the league.
Well, that myself too, I think. But if you want to go back and look at the replay on the touchdown pass to Thielen, if you notice the guy that hit Cousins at the knees, now isn't that the Tom Brady rule?
Yeah, you're not supposed to hit him in
the knees.
Yep.
Yep.
He buckled him on that.
That one was worse.
Oh yeah, you're
that
right.
one was
yeah,
worse.
Right.
That was much worse.
Yeah, that was much worse. No call there.
Yep.
So and my feelings on it's you're right, Russ. It's the Tom Brady rule below the knees and the Aaron Rodgers call for anything else if you run by and breathe on him.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I hope it just doesn't continue to get worse. I have a feeling it will before it gets better in the NFL, just because it, especially now with all the lawsuits and concussion stuff that retired players are doing. I understand the NFL is in a tough position. They want to keep the game true to its form because they know that's what the fans want, but they don't want to get sued every time a player retires, and they don't want the let's be honest, the
ratings.
The ratings, and it's all about the quarterback in this league. And so they baby him a little bit more. It'll be interesting, but yeah, basically, the whole aspect of lifting up the leg and then kind of driving him in. Yes, that's a traditional tackle, and you can do that to the other 10 players on the offense if you want, if they have the ball.
Yep.
But you can no longer do that to the quarterback.
I
hit him.
I don't. I tell you the truth, I don't have a problem with that kind of a call. The call I don't like is when the guy comes across. Like was it Richardson last game, where he fell on him.
Oh yeah, the weight one.
The falling on him. If he's picking him up and then falling on him, yes. But if he's coming through the line, he's half a step away, and the guy releases the ball, and you tackle him and you fall on top of him. Come on. That's football.
We weren't having these conversations even when me and Beau were young. Yeah. Especially when Rolf was young.
We had double teams. One hit low and one hit high. My cousin and I were great for that.
And leather helmets too, right?
No, we had face guards. Sorry.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yeah, really. We had pads too.
It's getting to be real critical. It's
that. This conversation digresses right now. So, okay, we'll go on.
Got to throw some old jokes in
there. Right.
There's no Packer guy to rip on here. So
yeah, right.
Rip on the old guy. So, I think it's obvious we all agree on the roughing the passer call. It'll be, I hope to see it. I hope there's some tweaking in the future. That's all I can say. Well, next up on the gauntlet was our rookie kicker. Taping this Tuesday night. Obviously, he has been released on Monday. We did sign Dan Bailey, which is a great sign over his career. I didn't realize how young he was.
Yeah.
He's only 30.
29 or 30. Yeah. I believe he turns 30 in January because this is
31, but
this is a question.
Maybe it's 31. Yeah, he's around that age. I thought he was like 35.
Yeah, question my son asked last night too, and he thought he was real old too. And I said, I don't think he's all that old. And I looked it up. I mean, 30, 31, whatever he is. I mean, he can easily, you can kick. I mean, Janikowski's still kicking.
What?
Well, yeah.
Vinatieri is. He's like 45.
Yeah.
Good Lord, both them guys.
But the thing I got with Bailey, I think I heard or talk on NFL Network yesterday too that I think he had a hamstring pull in his kicking leg at one time. That kind of bothers him, but I'm not sure if it bothers him now. But he's always been a pretty accurate kicker. I'm not sure what his percentage is.
It was a groin problem, I think, last year.
A groin injury. All right, good enough. Okay. So, but, I tell you, no matter what, I felt empathy for Carlson.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to.
Man,
poor kid.
Just,
Poor kid.
And I'm almost to the point now, like Chris Carter put on the WCCO show on that evening. He texted in and said maybe the Vikings have a kicker jinx.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Voodoo.
Since 98.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a tough thing, but like I said, I'm glad Bailey is here, and just kind of looking over, we're all super excited. Everybody's hearing the second most accurate kicker in NFL history, all that stuff. I will point out though that his 2 worst years are his last 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
84.4 in 2016 and 75% last year. Now, once again, they were saying he had a little bit of a groin problem, so I'm sure that affected it. Yep. So even before that, he had his 5 years before that, 3 of them were in the 93 percentile in accuracy. So that's I'm not worried about it. I just want to see. I just want to see him get out there and kick a field goal and make it, and just be like, okay.
Well, this last weekend, this Sunday game, there was 19 kicks missed.
Oh yeah. Because Brown switched, and then
the Browns got rid of Gonzalez, didn't they?
Yep.
And then the Rams. Well, Zerline got hurt. So he got it. So 3 teams needed
3 kicker changes.
Changes this week.
It's very interesting. But even as hurt as Bailey was, and maybe as bad as he's been the last 2 years, you gotta believe he would have made that last one.
Yeah. Oh yes, definitely.
No, definitely. So
I'll go along with that, Russ.
Exactly. And let's. Let's just touch on that again just for a second. The 35-yarder. I know Zim was getting some crap from the peanut gallery after game, but I agree with the peanut gallery because I think he should have that defense was so worn down after giving up another drive to the Vikings in overtime for a chance to win it. Their souls have been ripped out of their bodies, and we're just lollygagging, kind of running the clock out. We should have. Murray was fresh because Cook played most of the game for the first 3 quarters before he left with his little hamstring. They should have just been pounding Murray in there 3 times in a row. Just pound him. Hold his arms around the ball. Just bust through that line. He could have and get down to the 10-yard line and kick a 27-yarder or something. Just get it as close as possible. I was kind of this isn't Madden. If it was Madden, I could stop at the 30 and I'd make the kick every single time because I do. But this isn't Madden. You got to get as close as you can. Give the highest percentage of a make.
I gotta somewhat disagree. Zimmer sees this guy's drill. He drills kicks every single day in practice. He doesn't miss.
Practice? You're talking about practice?
But that's all he's seen. That's all he has on the guy right now. So he's got to have confidence. 35 yards in the NFL.
And he doesn't miss extra points. That's 37.
He didn't miss his extra points. It's risky. It's risky to keep running. I thought Zimmer played it the right way. He said in his conference, in his press conference after, we could have thrown in the end zone a couple of times, and I'm thinking, and also could bounce off and he intercepted.
I agree.
That happened.
I agree. They probably
still would have been a tie.
I agree. They shouldn't have been passing it.
That's right too.
I agree. It shouldn't. Yeah, exactly. Same outcome. I agree. They shouldn't have been passing it, but I think you have Murray in there, and he's just holding on to the ball, and he's like, your job is to eat that thing with your chest and just. The percent chance of something happening right there was so minimal. I just feel like it was better to go ahead with it. I see your guys' side. Trust me, I understand it. But I just feel that when you got a kicker that has missed most of his field goals since Forbath was released, that he should have. That's true, too. And obviously it was in the guy's head. So they should have just tried to a little bit closer. But who knows? That was kind of wide to the right all the way, so who knows if 5 yards would have made a difference. But
Well, also that's the Lambeau magic and Aaron Rodgers in his arm that can throw from the 20 to the end zone. I don't think they wanted to give him even 25, 30 seconds left. They wanted to run that clock down so there was nothing left.
No,
I'm along with. I'll stick with Zim on this deal. I think they did the right thing. The kid said, "Put it in the middle of the field. I'll make it." Well, he didn't, but now it's bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, he's gone.
Well, let's jump on to the next grouping here. Defensive lines, ups and downs. I thought the first half, well, to me it was a tale of two halves, both offensively and defensively. First half, I thought the defense didn't really play up to their game, especially defensive line. I felt like Rodgers had tons of time. And on the offensive side, I thought the offensive play calling was horrible. So, it was 3-yard run, 4-yard pass, 3rd down and 4. Maybe get a first down. 4-yard pass, 3-yard run, 3rd and 4. It's like, no, we can get a first down on first down and second down. Last time I checked, we don't have to go 1, 2, 3 and then get a first down. And that's what I felt like they're doing on offense, is that they were just way too. And then he was trying to do some weird ones with the whole Diggs running in motion behind them and throwing it to him. It's like, oh boy, hey, I wonder if they're going to throw it to him. And then they do, and there's 3 guys untouched tackling him for a loss. I was very disappointed. But then again, in the second half, it turned around.
It was quite evident to me in the first half that the Vikings absolutely thought they could run the football. There was zero doubt in their mind. But guess what? They didn't run the football.
Yeah, I still can't believe that.
Rushing yards, 68 yards for the game. The Packers outrushed us. I mean, the Packers outrushed us.
And once again, that was the first half, the defensive line.
And maybe the second half was not just because we were behind. Maybe the offensive coordinator figured something out. But yeah, I mean, you got these 2 receivers. Yep. You've got to use the whole team.
We still have to really establish the run. And you guys are talking about the coming out a little flat. And I've only watched probably over 700 Viking games in the last eon years, and I could probably go about 75% of the time on the road. The Vikings seem to come out flat in that first half. They always seem to come flat, and then all of a sudden it's like somebody slapped them upside the helmet and woke them up. So it's adjustments too. I think Zim's got great adjustments.
I agree,
and I think that's what helped too on this. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I do agree. I believe when he goes in at halftime, Zimmer is one of the best at making changes, and we saw that especially on the defense also. Yeah. It was the bend but don't break mentality on the defense. Yes, we gave up a lot of field goals, and that kind of in a way kind of cost us towards the end itself, but they were field goals. They were in 7 points. If those defense were giving up touchdowns, we wouldn't be talking about a tie. We'd be in here crying, mad that we got our butts whooped because our defense wasn't stopping them, but we did. We stopped them for field goals, and we got past it. Let's. I'm gonna end on a high note here. I think on the positives for the game. Brian O'Neill, the rookie right tackle, came in for Hill. You did not hear a peep from him, which is great. That's the best thing about an offensive lineman. If you don't want to hear your offensive linemen's names called out during a game, and I wouldn't have known that there was a rookie out there blocking, and he did a magnificent job. Yep. Super hyped about that. Super excited about that.
Well, he made a good. Yeah, he was proven to be a good lineman. I can't remember what college he came from. Is it USC? No.
No. Yeah, I can't remember here. Yeah, keep talking.
I'll keep talking. Okay, but the offensive line in that second half really, really protected Cousins. There was a couple times they were pretty close, but that's the one thing I like about Cousins. Also, he can a quick release quarterback. Yeah. So he held it in the first half. And he admitted that in his press conference. He says, I held the ball too long in that first half.
He did several times.
He says, I kind of choked on that deal. He says, the line was protecting me, and I hesitated and ate it.
Yep. Pittsburgh. That's where he's from.
Yeah,
he was out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
He was that guy that they'd line up, and he'd do sweeps. And I think they passed it to him one time for a catch. So, I mean, he's super athletic. I think he's actually trying to gain weight because he was a little too small, because he was once a tight end and then moved into tackle. So I was super happy about Brian O'Neill. Russ?
Good move. Looks good. Whether he continues to play, I surely hope so. I really like him more with Elfline coming back, because Elfline is also a very athletic center.
Is he coming back this week?
I don't know when he's coming back, but I'm just hoping he is.
I would kind of like. I don't know if he will make it back this week, but I'd kind of like him to make it back against a team like the Bills instead of
throwing him in against the Rams,
or maybe they'll wait and do it to the Rams because that's a Thursday game. So maybe they'll give him. I don't know if they'd play him coming back off the injury and not playing any games and going from a Sunday game to a Thursday game. So maybe they might hold him until the Rams, or maybe even after that if they don't feel like they need him. I just thought of that while we were talking here, that obviously with the Rams game being a Thursday night, that might change it up a little bit. But it's the offensive line has had some mostly good, a few bad, but that's in the offensive line. So did I miss on anything, guys? Anybody you want to talk about anything? Let's final thoughts on the game.
I would just say we'll find out. The offensive line has been the most I've been the biggest skeptic on them, even more than Cousins. We'll find out in a couple weeks when we play at LA. That's going to be the big one.
That's going to be the defense we're going to have to really worry about. And I think that in a short 4 days to prepare for it too is kind of scary.
Well, like
to
I
go
said,
into a Thursday, So, but maybe I don't know. I have confidence in the offensive line after yesterday in that second half. So,
the good news is we have the Bills next.
Okay, let's talk about the Bills.
So it's not like like I said before we went on air. If the Bills win a game this year, I'll be amazed. I think it'll be one of the biggest fall-offs. Obviously, they made a playoffs last year with help from Cincinnati, but they made the playoffs last year. I seriously would be shocked. I haven't looked at their actual schedule, so I don't see if there's. I mean, once again, they have a playoff schedule, so they got a second in their division schedule.
Yeah,
and so I don't see them winning a game. On our itinerary, it says what will need to happen for the Vikes to win. I don't show up.
That's exactly what they got to do.
What will need to happen for the Bills to win?
Don't overlook.
The Vikings not show up.
Yep.
Yeah.
As in not actually go into the building. As in not playing.
Good. It's good that we're at home against them because the crowd is going to be there for them.
Very loud.
And loud. And but, the old saying, any given Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
In
it's hard to be
this
cocky,
crazy NFL, you can't be cocky. So I think the Vikes will come out and play their game, and the defense is going to shut them down. And I mean, I don't need a blowout. I need maybe a 28-10, but if we blow them out, happy, go lucky. I'll just have a really nice day having my Bloody Mary, and we'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think we need to come out and be real serious. We need to just take advantage of these kinds of games.
Get up fast.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. Let's try some things. Let's move some guys around. Let's this is the kind of game we've got to see what plays work and what guys are ready to play next week, because the following week ain't gonna be easy.
Yeah, the next one. Yeah, the game against the Rams is going to be a kind of a telltale. Yep.
And of course the rookie Josh Allen took over. Was it Peterman?
Yeah, Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, I don't even know why they even put him out there. But Josh Allen against the Chargers, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 245 yards, 18 completions out of 33. Nothing to write home towards against an average
defense.
Yeah. And it was at Buffalo, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it was at home, and he had that. So,
have you heard anything about McCoy? Is he out because of his ribs? Or are they gonna,
I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything official, but all the reports that I was seeing is that he wasn't going to probably miss a week or two. So,
and I don't know. Who their backup is. So
let's see.
Chris Ivory. Can you name anybody on the Bills besides Josh Allen and LaShawn McCoy?
Yeah, no, I was just looking through their stats.
No, we got Chris Ivory.
There's Bill from Buffalo.
Yeah. Kelvin Benjamin. Remember they traded for him?
Oh, they still have him.
So, they still got Benjamin on there?
They it wasn't a trade? It wasn't or was a free agent? Yeah. I can't remember off that. But anyways, they took him from Carolina, which Carolina wasn't sad to let him go.
Yeah.
But so I'm not going to break this game down too much because, like I said, it shouldn't be that big of a contest overall.
28-6.
20.
Just you want to ask me.
Yeah. Well, hey, next up, final score.
Oh,
Dad,
we scored 29
oh,
against Green Bay at Lambeau. We're only going to score 20. Of course, we had to score in the fourth quarter.
yeah, we had to
so
score 29.
that's the way
Remember?
it works.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 28-6,
it
Dad.
it could be more than that, but I just hope they just come out and play an all-around good
Solid game.
Solid game. No turnovers. No special team screw-ups. That cost us the game. That was a screw-up.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is it? What's number 50 for the Vikes? Is that Wilson? No, the linebacker. He's the one that took the outside guy instead of the inside guy. I know. I watched it. Yeah, on the punt.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're taught. And I played
Always
little
take
special
the
teams
inside.
back when I was a kid, which is a long time ago. But on a punt, they always said
Four
score and 20 years ago. More than that, but he always took the inside guy. The outside guy's got to be awful quick to get to that.
Yep, he's got to go run around him.
Yep.
That was all scouting by the Packers.
Yes, definitely.
They saw something there, and Minnesota's usually really solid on special teams.
Especially punts.
So,
and yeah, like you said, the freak stuff like that is going to happen for the Bills to win or to make this competitive.
Yeah.
Let's just make this competitive.
Yep.
There should be, even though any given Sunday, there should really be zero chance that the Bills win this game. If the Bills beat us, then we might as well just wipe out the season because take our Super Bowl aspirations down several notches. Because like I said, I'll be surprised if they win a game all year. What do you have for a final score, Russ?
they are who we thought they were. Is that the moment we're looking for here? Final score, 31-10. I think Buffalo will get something. It'll probably be at the end when we're way ahead.
Garbage touchdown, hopefully.
I suspect they'd get 3 real early, before we get a chance to make our adjustments.
Yeah.
I've got it 34-3.
All right.
And I think that 3 would only be a possible turnover on our side of the field, and that they've already kind of in field goal range. I just don't see the Bills, especially if McCoy's gone too. I mean, I don't see them driving the field against the Vikings. If we can hold Aaron Rodgers to 5 field goals, how is rookie Josh Allen and LaShawn McCoy going to drive down the field and get into field position? Yeah, I think, and plus Baltimore zapped them on their first week. They had 0 points against Baltimore.
Yeah,
our defense is way better than Baltimore's.
Yeah, we could have a shutout.
And we are at home.
It might be. I was being nice.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie.
I am too.
I ain't gonna lie. I was being nice to giving them 3 points. Yeah. So that's what we got for the final score, and that kind of ends it for the preview. So, but up, of course, is our Mount Rushmore. As usual, guys, if you have a Mount Rushmore that you want to have me take a look at, maybe talk about it on air, maybe even have a potential of having you come in studio with me and talking one of these podcasts, please email me your Mount Rushmore at K953sportsshow@gmail.com. That's K953sportsshow@gmail.com for a chance to not only talk about, for me to talk about who you sent in, but also for a chance for you to stand here right next to me, right where Russ is standing or where my dad is sitting. Come in here and just kind of talk sports with me. I want to make this
Old
community
people have to
work. Yeah. I want this to be a community. I want the average Joe on the street to think that they can come in here and just talk and be on the podcast and talk sports. Yeah, I want that. I want to give people that opportunity. So please send me your Mount Rushmore at K953sportsshow@gmail.com. Russ, what's your Mount Rushmore? You're saying you were having trouble picking out a fourth because obviously there's so many. So go through the first 3, tell me why you picked them, and then obviously last second, make a choice on your fourth. What you got?
The first 3 are easy to me. Tarkenton, you can't not have him on there. I know some people don't. You can't not have him on there. He's our first franchise quarterback of all time. Come on. Chris Carter, my second one. Got to have Chris Carter on there. Randy Moss, who a lot of people, even Packer fans that are friends of mine, think he was the best receiver of all time. And I'm really stuck on this last one. You know what? Can I pick the whole 70s defensive line? Can
That's
we
one of
pick
them.
the
Just
purple
one, I'm
people
sorry.
eaters?
I had one person try to do that. I told him no. So
And if
that would
I
be my
can't
answer for you
pick
two.
that line, then I guess I have to go Peterson.
Oh.
And then I have to.
Not even going with one of them, just going right to
I
Peterson.
really can't pick one, guys. I mean, now I didn't watch them live like Rolf did. I wasn't alive then, but no, it's true. I didn't watch them live. All I have is highlights. I mean, I guess I wouldn't pick Jim Marshall since he ran the wrong way for a touchdown.
Yeah, he was confused.
Yeah, but it's really hard not to have another guy out of that 69 to. Can we go Bud Grant?
No coaches.
He's not
no
he's-
coaches
he's
because
not a
obviously
coach.
if we included coaches, Bud Grant would have to be up there.
Plain
Plain
and
and simple.
it's easier for a lot of people to pick Peterson just because he's in our era.
Yeah.
But I mean, can I let Rolf pick my fourth one? He saw him play live.
You're asking the man who came up to me and said he had 4 different Mount Rushmores, so he had 16 players.
Oh, he's more indecisive than me.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then he narrowed it down. So that's
16 I had on my paper.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
so yeah.
I had
it's-
2 of them. 2 of them were the same in all 4 combinations, but there was different ones in there. So I watched the Purple People Eaters, and man alive, I tell you, we always, and I said this in probably another podcast, that we always had that great defense when we went to the Super Bowl, but the offense never showed up.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Not this year.
But
this year we have the great defense and we have
offense.
a powerful offense. I feel, and by the way, Russ, I like your 4. Obviously, like you said, Tarkington. In some people I've talked to have said, hey, they have different rules. Different people who have given me their Mount Rushmore have different rules on what they're picking. One person had to been with the team for 10 years. One person had some personal. Knew a couple of them or met them a handful of times. So we use that. One was I only picked people that were around that played when I was alive. So I mean, but I had Fran Tarkington and I had Alan Page on mine. Obviously, I never saw them play, but I can watch the video. I can see what they did. Tarkington, as you said, retired with all these great stats, 3 Super Bowls with us. Alan Page, only defensive player to ever get, or only him and Lawrence Taylor are the only defensive players to win MVP
of the league. Yep.
of the league. So
Yeah.
so I understand. Obviously Tarkington's great. I also had Carter Moss on mine. So ours were the closest.
Very similar.
This is the closest we've gotten to having four the same between 2 people.
Yeah, and if I studied a little harder, like I say, I want somebody off that line. And I guess Alan Page, I didn't even know he won the MVP, so that's good information to have, and I'm not going to change it at this point. But I'll tell you who I have at the top is definitely Moss. I've never had more fun in my life watching somebody play the game of football, and mooning the Packers was absolutely amazing, and I just love Joe Buck's reaction.
Oh yeah.
I never forget it.
He's never been to a strip bar.
Yeah, it's just I know, he was so ashamed. It was
You better probably cut that out.
It was, but yeah, that's what I liked about watching Moss going into the Hall of Fame, because all of his highlights were all over the place, and I enjoyed watching those this summer,
Absolutely.
And
leading up to it.
It was hard for me to keep Turk off of there too, because I went through it with all those.
And like I said, and that's what's great about the Mount Rushmore. There's no wrong answers.
Nope, no,
There
there
isn't.
isn't.
It's that's why it's what's your Mount Rushmore, not what should be the Minnesota Vikings Mount Rushmore. What's your Mount Rushmore of Vikings players? So I thank you for that, Russ. Hey, thanks for coming in, Russ. I want to have you back if you want to come back sometime.
Oh, of course.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I want to get a good group of people that are going to rotate throughout the month. So I definitely want to get you back. Thank you so much. Once again, if you got your Mount Rushmores, please email me, K953sportsshow@gmail.com. Next week, we're going to have a special. I'm going to be sitting down and talking with Mark and Ryan, the Stingers owners, and having kind of a season review on the Stinger season, their best regular season in their 9 seasons. So make sure you check out that. Then we'll also have a short little review of the Bills game, and then there's a short preview of the Rams, just because it's coming up on Thursday. I don't want to talk too much about it past that. So look for that next week. Thank you once again. Hit subscribe. Thank you. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell. Thank you. to the Fan Zone in the Candy Mall for sponsoring this. Seriously, get there, guys. I saw they got some new Viking jerseys in. I saw a whole bunch of Cook jerseys hanging in there the other day. So please get in there and take a look at them. Support them. Tell them you support the sports show. Let them know that. And I appreciate that, guys. And you know what? I think we're going to call it a week. And we'll talk to you all next week. Thanks for listening.